Hi everyone, it's FC.Liverpool, it's everything Liverpool, it's whatever you want to say, whatever you need to say, get us off your chest. And as the title says, full storm, question mark, exclamation mark. And we've got a great guest on, we've got a lads all the way, expat, good Liverpool, well, a great Liverpool supporter, but all great lads anyway. And it's Daz all the way from the States, believe it or not. And there he is.
Hiya, mate.
So, how are you?
I'm sound. And yourself?
I'm good, thanks, Jazz. Yeah, and we're getting there. What did you think? Did you see the game anyway? That's the main thing against Arsenal.
Oh yeah, I did. I actually wanted to go down the pub, but because it's Easter, you got to hang out with the kiddos and watch them hunt. But the missus was like, "All right, you can have your 10:30 in the morning kickoff." So yeah, I watched it. I had to watch, obviously what comes out of my mouth, because I don't want me kids saying what I was saying in that first 20 odd minutes. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those, wasn't it, where you just thought in the first 20, 25 minutes, here we go again. Here we go again. It's the same old Liverpool dropping their heads and playing like amateurs. But something happened after 30 minutes. It's well, I mean, the Xhaka incident really fired up the crowd, and I think also I don't understand Arsenal, to be honest, Frank. I mean, they're 2-0 up, and then they start doing the dark arts, falling down, and I think that pissed the crowd off and the players. And I'm surprised Arteta wasn't screaming at his players, going, "Stop doing that." I mean, you do that 2-0 with 15 minutes to go, not with 55, 60 minutes to go. So I was surprised that they were playing that game. But what a game it was in that second half. I mean, that's the proper Liverpool that we know.
Of course it is, Daz. Well, you hit the nail on the head there, and it was the little incident between that Xhaka fella and Trent Arnold. It was that little incident, and it was Trent Arnold. He was geeing the crowd. Oh, come on, get behind us here, and everything clicked from then. Everything clicked. That was the best second half I've seen since last season, put it that way. Since last season. Forget the Man United 7-0 game. Forget that. It was the fight. It was the spirit. It was the passion. It was everything. Even the crowd. The crowd was roaring. It was like a European night against Barcelona or anybody. It was like a European night, and the crowd was up for it. It was absolutely astonishing. And when we came to the end there, enough, it was 2-2, and Canete.
Out of all the people, you probably wouldn't want him right there. I'm really surprised he didn't use his head.
I couldn't believe it, because I thought it was going to go in, and he tried to chest it in instead of using his head, because if he would have headed it, that would have gone in. We would have won the game. But, that's the way it is. That's the way everything goes.
Their man of the match was Ramsdale, so that kind of tells the tale of Arsenal. When their goalie's man of the match. But for the longest time, we've been so inconsistent this season. I mean, the 7-0 against United, was absolutely boss. But that still kind of showed me some cracks in the team.
Okay.
That second half against Arsenal really showed me that there's still good players in the squad. You've got people on Twitter who will go on and on that we need a total rebuild. We need 10 players gone. That's a load of rubbish to me.
It's ridiculous, to be honest.
We just need fresh legs. About 4 or 5 players to come in, at least 2 or 3 of them to go straight in the team.
I think, to be honest, I've been saying this. I've been saying this for 2 years, believe it or not. 2 years ago, I said that we needed a midfielder, top class midfielder. This is 2 years ago. This season, the beginning of this season, I said we need 2 midfielders, not 1. We need 2. And now we need 3. We really need 3 to get us back up to that level. We had the fighting spirit against Arsenal in the second. Well, the latter part of the first half, coming into the second half, and that fighting spirit has been missing all season. It's been missing, that. And let's see what Stephen Snape says. He says, amongst all our frustrations, why is it we need to go 1 or 2 goals down to get going? We outplayed them for 60 minutes and should have won, I think. Yeah, I'm biased, but we were the better team. Of course we were the better team, Stephen. Have you got anything to add to that, Taz?
Well, I mean, it is strange that we have to go down a goal or 2 to start playing. I mean, our mate Jeff Golden, he was saying at the game there was infighting in the Kop, and he's never seen that before. And I've never heard that before. I know last season at an away match there was some fighting between. Arguing, between some Liverpool supporters, but I've never heard of it. And for Jeff, who's a season ticket holder as well, was like they were all around me, like screaming bloody murder at each other. That's not us. No,
but let's be honest. Over the years, no matter what, whether it's with Paisley, I'm a Shankly boy, actually. I'm a Paisley boy. So I've grew up with all that. And yet we still criticise Shankly, we still criticise players, we still criticise Bob. And Bob Paisley, in my opinion, is the greatest manager of all time. To win 3 European Cups. You just think about this. 3 European Cups, Daz, and you had to win the league. Not Champions League, like, 3rd and 4th and all this going into of your country to get into the European Cup. And he won it 3 times. He was the first British manager to win it back to back. First British manager. Well, at the time, he was the only manager to win the European Cup with the same club 3 times. So, you've got that. And as I said, I criticised them. You do. You just, it's one of those things that you criticise. And there's no exception today, with Jurgen Klopp. And he was being criticised heavily. But I'm not one of these fellas, who's saying Klopp out. That's a load of absolute garbage. And also what you said, which I thought, you hit the nail on the head about some fans wanting a whole change, get rid of this, get rid of that. So I disagree with everything like that. Can I just read this? Just read this, and let's see. Amongst bolster the midfield, maybe a centre half and some hungry young squad players, and we'll be back amongst it. And that's what Stephen Snape says. What do you think of that? What do you think of that comment?
Spot on.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, spot on. Midfield is number 1 to sort out. And then, centre half, it does look like either Gomez or Matip are going to go, isn't it?
Yeah. No, do you know what I'm sorry. Go on, carry on.
Phillips as well. So you've got 3 centre halves. Matip's not the same. He played really well last season. But this season, what we need to stop is the amount of made of Weetabix players, like the Caters, the Oxes, the Matips, the Gomezes. It's ruining each season because we have these made of glass players, And even Thiago, for me, Thiago is an absolute joy to watch. But if the lad can't play 20 games a season, you got to move him on. You know, sentimentality. I mean, I think Klopp's actually realised that now, that he can't be sentimental anymore. And I think that's where the criticism comes a lot with Klopp, because I do get tired of, you know, there's a lot of people, again, FSG out, right? But Klopp also picks the team. He also, at the beginning of the season, said, we don't need anyone. That came out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, but Daz, here's what happened. On the penultimate day of the window shutting in the summer, he admitted, and this is what we were all saying, we need midfielders. We need midfielders. And he turned around to the press, to the journalists, and said, you were right, I was wrong about midfielders. We never got that Truth Maney. We didn't have him. And I really thought that we'd get a midfielder. You know, there must have been a contingency plan. He must have been. That's what I've always said anyway. Anyway, he didn't. He brought in Arthur Mello. You know, 13 minutes he's played for Liverpool. A disaster of a loan signing. A disaster of a loan signing.
110k a week.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And not only that, but, you know, in the winter as well, the January window, the same again. And it was just absolutely horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. I thought, let's see what these comments are saying now. Stephen Snape says, when the fallout amongst ourselves is counterproductive as it splinters the support base, when we're struggling, surely we need to stand together and to display all our support. Yes, of course. Well, this is what we're going off. This is what we're saying now. Hang on a minute. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I missed out this Jake lad. Right. And Jake says, well, Frank, if we don't get top four now, the only pulling point players are going to come here is Klopp, isn't it? And that's a question. That's a question to me. That's a question to you. And Klopp is the pulling power. What do you think about that particular comment?
100%. I mean, this is the thing. You know, these young players want to play Champions League. You know, of course you do. You want to play at the top level. Liverpool don't make Champions League, and let's not kid ourselves. Top four is out of the business. We're not getting top four. We'd be lucky to get Europa League, to be honest. And for me, if we don't get Europa League, I don't want Europa Conference League. I'd rather have no Europe. But on his point, yes. With people like Bellingham seems like he's very mature for his age. He's 19 and he's all about football. I don't think he's about the money. He's about the project. And if Klopp, you know, is still there, all these, and I do call them morons who want Klopp sacked. Get a grip, you know, give your head a wobble. But if Klopp has a project where he's there for the rebuild, people like Bellingham will come. Because only
for Klopp, though. It's only for Klopp. But he's also got a couple of mates with the likes of Trent, with the likes of Henderson. But then again, if we're talking about an overall of midfield, I think, what do you think of Henderson? Do you think Henderson should, you know, what do you think of him now? And don't forget next season as well.
Squad player. You need somebody like Hendo in the squad. He's so good off and on, especially off the pitch for these youngsters. I mean, Bellingham. you saw you know, I don't watch England much. It's more
I don't watch
watching
them.
the media of the pictures of Bellingham and Henderson. They stick together like glue. So obviously Bellingham looks up to Hendo, and I think having Hendo in the squad is good. Definitely has lost a yard or two. So for me, it's like having Thiago. I mean, Thiago turned 32 today.
Yeah, 32, the lads, yeah. Yeah.
But if you same with Fabinho as well. I mean, Fabinho played like a 35-year-old this season, and he's only 29.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you get two young lads either side of these players, it'll prolong like Thiago's career, Fabinho's career, Henderson's career, and also, you know, there's people saying put Trent in midfield now. I'm still kind of wary of that.
Well, I was going to ask you that, to be honest, because when with the change around against in the second half, especially with the change around, okay, we were only 2-1 down, but he went into midfield.
Yeah,
And I was going to suggest before you mentioned this fella actually, and I said, how about putting, you know, till the end of the season, we've got nothing to lose. We've got nothing to gain, really, in all honesty. So why not, till the end of the season, why not put Trent in midfield and put Joe Gomez at right back? Because he played all right. He played all right, Joe Gomez, you know, in his last game that he played, his last full game. So would you go along with that or no?
It's a tough one for me because, you know, people complain about Trent and not defending midfield. You've got to defend as well, and I think with Trent, you know, when he plays right back, he sees the whole field. If he's playing midfield, he's going to have his back turned a lot of the time. So, I mean, I would try something maybe in pre-season and see how it goes. I still think if we get a fresh young midfielder like Henderson used to do, you know, 2-3 seasons ago, he can that new midfielder can cover Trent while Trent bombs up the wing. So I'm still a bit, you know, if somebody can come in and do that job that Klopp wants, then keep Trent at right back. If not, then yeah, maybe it is time for, you know, a pre-season.
Well, Canete, he was covering the right, wasn't he, really, when the other fellow went into midfield, Trent, against Arsenal. I'll just one of these, it's what you said before, actually. And Stephen Snape says, a robust midfield would shield the defence. I've said that all along. Would shield the defence. The Weetabix analogy is spot on. We need young, hungry players who are up for the fight with full commitment to our shirt. Klopp's strength is the motivational, and that's right. Yeah, you know, it is. He is the big motivational, like, persona, isn't he? Really. And then again, Soulboy Fran, he actually says, if we get midfielders, we need surely. Hang on. If we get the midfielders we need, surely he can manage Thiago game time because he's still quality. Yeah, what he's saying is, you know, with Thiago, keep Thiago and just give him game time. Just give him you know, because as you said before, it's his birthday today. He's 32 years of age, and he's a little bit brittle, isn't he? To be honest, let's be honest about that. So, what do you think about keeping Thiago?
Well, again, you know, if it's just he's on such like high wages, isn't he? I mean, he's on I think 200k a week. And again, if you don't play more than 20 games a season, that's a lot of money. But like the lad just said, though, if we can get two solid players that can do most of the running either side of him, then yeah, prolong Thiago's career at Liverpool, because I love the fella. I mean,
everyone does.
No look passes
Everyone does.
against Arsenal was just he cuts.
He cuts defences. He ribbons them, doesn't he? With just one pass. And
it's
that's
like,
the way.
I really wish we could have had Thiago when he was like 25, 26. Because he's a bit like Kevin De Bruyne, who I have much respect for. They see different than any other players. You know, they're 10. It's like a chess match for them. They're already 10 moves ahead of the other midfielders. You know, and he's a joy to watch. But you know, we just need to cut out these players that are injured all the time.
Well, okay, let's talk about. Let me just mention these lads here. Jake says, and we've been getting Declan Rice, Frank. Wouldn't we, and maybe Maddison or someone else? Now, that's to go along with what you said about Jude Bellingham if he comes here. We definitely need someone. What about Mason Mount as well? What about him, you know? But let me carry on with these lads, please. Right. Sorry, but Henderson won't do 90 minutes consistently, says Stephen Snake. Yes, keep him on the bench, but his legs have gone, which brings me back to signing hungry youngsters who can learn from Henderson and Thiago. Right? So let's just this one here, and then we'll go back to what we're talking about. Gomez's pace and is primarily a defensive-minded player. For me, we haven't got a better passer of a ball than Trent, so midfield might suit him. Trent's vision to pick out a pass is as good as any. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, spot on with the pass. I mean, he is. He's one of the best passers of the ball in world football. But it's the age-old question. How many people were really down Trent's throat last season when the team were playing really well, and this season, because we haven't had a midfield to take care of what that space. That's the problem. Is that space when Trent goes forward?
Yeah.
Every team is just going down that right passage. It's same with Robbo as well. I mean, the left side was hit by Arsenal quite a few times. So it's just it starts in midfield. We've got to get fresh midfield players in, no doubt about it.
Well, you mentioned Robbo there. When I seen, was it the first or the second goal? I think it was the first goal. I really thought he should have gone in with his right, but he went in with his left. He's got no right foot. And if he would have gone in with his right, he would have blocked her. He would have blocked her for sure.
Well, he slipped beforehand, didn't he?
Yeah, he slipped before and got back. But then again, it doesn't give you the excuse not to go in with your right.
Yeah, of course.
It was a very weak defensive. Yeah, it was a defensive mistake.
They did get lucky on that first goal, though, because it pinged off 2 players. But again, like you said, you know, Virgil hasn't been the same player.
No.
I mean, he's even come out and said, like, we're not robots.
No.
You know, they are human beings, and they do get knackered, you know, mentally and physically. I mean, we can all say, I think, after last season, getting so close to the quad, I think we're all mentally drained, even us as supporters. Like, and football just came back too quickly for me.
But the point is, with the likes of that quad this season, did you watch the Manchester City Liverpool game, the Charity Shield final? Did you see that?
Yeah.
What did you think of that game? And what did you think of Liverpool? Be honest.
We were good.
Exactly.
We were good. and that's why when I watched us, I was like, it's going to be another good season. Boy, was I wrong.
Exactly, and even the commentator, if you can recall it, he said, "Well, we're looking no further than these two to dominate a game." That's what he said at the end of the game. We're looking no further than these two to dominate, a game. Well, you know what he meant by the Premiership and everything else, every cup going, and that's what he meant. And Liverpool just fell away. They fell away that bad. Midfielders, though, they're running in mud or wellies, having wellies on. It's been shocking. And I've always said, along with other lads as well, like there has been some comments over the couple of months. The defence provides the forwards and it provides defensive abilities for our defence. It protects the defence. And that's gone with their legs. As Stephen Snape said, his legs have gone. This is Henderson. Would you okay, say we keep Henderson, okay, but he can't play too many games, and he won't, he'll be on the bench or he'll be injured, because when he gets injured, he's out for ages. I don't want to see Milner there. We can't afford to give him another contract. I really don't, not a 38-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pathetic, though. And he's gone, would you take the armbands off Henderson, by the way, and make him vice-captain, make Virgil van Dijk captain, and make him vice-captain? What you say about that?
I would, because, if you're not playing week in, week out, then how can you really be the captain? I would actually give it Robbo.
Why?
I just think, Virgil to me is just, I don't know. Robbo to me has just got that something different than Virgil. I think he really does get in people's faces. I've seen him captain for Scotland, and he's just like, come on, Virgil. He's the big giant, the friendly giant. I know he's the Dutch captain, but yeah, I just Robbo he's more in your face,
But the thing is, with Robertson, he hasn't been playing too well this season. Even the back end of last season, he hasn't been that good. He really has.
Do you think that has something to do with like Diaz though? Because he first it was Mane. He worked really well with Mane.
Do you know what? Can you read minds? That's what I was going to say to you. I was going to say, do you think his game has dropped because of Diaz? That's crazy, that. But go on, carry on, Taz. Save me anyway.
I think Robbo had a good understanding with Mane, and Mane would chat back as well. And I think that's one of the biggest issues as well. We're not defending from the front like Mane, Bobby, and Mo used to. Now we've got Nunes, who's Captain Chaos. You don't know what the hell he's going to do. Gakpo hasn't been, he's only been here since January. But then you have Diaz, who came in last year in January and hit the ground running. And even though he doesn't really speak, I know he doesn't speak Scottish, but him and Robbo, started to...
Yeah, that's understanding, yeah.
Yeah, and Diaz will track back as well. So I think, again, it's just all... The drop-off is just mental, to be honest. And it's worrying at times, but I think with having Diaz back's going to be massive for us. Yeah. But again, I don't know what Klopp's going to do with Gakpo, because Gakpo's been playing on the left, and then you've had Nunes playing on the left. So I don't know what Klopp's going to do with that. But no, I think Robbo will be back, hopefully back to normal next season. My problem is You know, quite a few people have said like Simicast is like near Robbo level, and I'm like, you're having a laugh. He's not even close. And the chances he's come on and had, especially this season, he's been terrible.
I think he has one good game when he came on for Robertson. You know, I said to myself, he's good, this lad. He's going to be, you know, he can pressurise Robbo into, you know, his place. And that was, I forget who it was against, but he plays well. And the next, Robertson can't cross a ball. You know, all this year, he couldn't cross a ball. It's been terrible crossing the ball. All right, let's get on to these points here. Good point about Virgil, says Stephen Snape. Also, his injury has affected him negatively, I think. Konate's been all round a better centre-back this season for me. That's a very good point. Soulboy Fran, he says, I like McAllister at Brighton. He likes a tackle, which is what we're crying out for. And I fully agree with that. And the final one is a bit left field, but what about Alisson for captain? His example by his performances is exemplary this season. What do you think about that?
I'm really wary of goalkeepers being captains. I mean, you look at Lloris for Spurs, absolute disaster. Yeah. I mean, you really need an outfield player to be the captain. You know, I mean,
that's why it's got to be a centre half or a midfielder.
Yeah, you destroy it.
Yeah.
No, it's midfield or your centre back.
Yeah.
Usually, but yeah, I mean, Alisson's brilliant, but yeah, as captain, it's a no-go for me.
Yeah. Well, there's there's a good one here. It's only what we're talking about here, Taz. And he says, Soulboy Fran, he says, I don't like defenders as captain. Let them concentrate on their game. If we get Bellingham, future captain. What do you think about that? What about Trent being captain? He's a scouser.
Yeah, I'd love Trent to be captain.
Don't overlook him. You know, he's a proper scouser. He's a proper scouser. But I don't know what happened this season with him because he has been awful.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, the midfield protects the defence, and we've had that in the last 5 or 6 years, protecting the defence, but also providing the forwards. But then again, you mentioned two of the greatest players to play alongside Mo, and that was Mane and Bobby Firmino. And those going at you. I always remember a fella from Manchester City, there was a left back, forget his name, and he turned around and he said, when you're defending against them, you don't know where they're going to go. You don't know where that ball's going to end up. It's impossible to mark them. And he was so, I forget his name. Played for City anyway. He was gone that season. He was gone. Some Argentinian. So what do you think of that then? You know, but Soulboy France saying about defenders and Alisson, well, we said about him. What about McAllister, by the way? Getting in there?
I really, really like McAllister. But I mean, this is the thing though. I mean, if Brighton get into Europe, they're going to want to keep him.
Yeah.
And he's another one that's going to cost over 100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, if we're all to believe, like, you know, what's really going on behind the scenes, Bellingham is going to be the big one, 100. So you probably need to go for two £50 million players, you know. So that's why Mount is in the news with us, Nunes from Wolves, which is I think the Nunes one's so bizarre. We were, you know, supposedly in for him before he went to Wolves, and then Wolves got him for 47 mil, which is a record for them. And now, why would it's quite weird that we would be interested in him again.
Well, do you know my theory on that? I'm telling you now. Remember when I said at the beginning about Toumani, when the money was there and everything else, and we should have got another midfielder, and there was no contingency plan. I don't think there was any money, because now we're back in for Toumani. Think about it. We're back in for him because he's like a Toumani's. What is he saying? He said, "I don't like where I am now with Madrid. Coming off the bench and not getting games and whatever. And I should have gone to Liverpool and in the first place, but it wasn't to be." Now the thing is, you've got to take his terminology. Wasn't to be. If you think about it, you've got to take about what you just said about Núñez. We were looking at him. Why didn't we get him for 40 million? Why didn't we get him? Because there was no money. That's in my opinion. And then you look at the November, and the owners said we're selling. Now, people who know me, I said that's a ploy. That's a ploy. So they won't. Fans were saying at the time, up to November and beyond November, that we need midfielders. We're desperate for midfielders. They came out and said, we're not selling. Yeah, they came out and said that. And I said it was a ploy so that the fans won't turn on them, but the new owners will buy all these players that we need in January. And then after the January window closed, what did they come out and say? We're not selling. Think about that. Just think about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of PR spin, isn't there?
Oh, I call them the washing machine, the owners. There's more spin out of them than anybody. That's me. That's just my opinion, and that's why I call them the washing machine.
Yeah, I do think they'll spend though this summer, because I think if they weren't, I think Klopp would be walking.
But how many times have they said it though over the years? How many times have they said there's a war chest? And you read this, you go, yeah, okay. People.
I think we've all
read them anymore.
I think we've all just got fingers and toes crossed that this is the summer that they actually get their wallets out and back Klopp.
How much? All right, okay. Who would you like to see? Just midfield, nobody else. Just midfield. And how many midfielders would you like to see come in? And can you name?
At least three.
Okay.
Bellingham, obviously. McAllister.
Yeah.
And then just a young, well, Bellingham's only 19, but
he is only 19. What about Declan Rice? What about I'm sorry. Come on.
I'm trying to think though, because if West Ham get relegated, which it looks like they could, his value will go down. But I mean, if West Ham survive, they're going to ask 100 plus. So I'm just thinking of, hey, Bellingham 110, 120, McAllister 100, Declan Rice 100, 110. I mean, that's over 300 million. There's no way FSG are giving 300 million. There's no way.
I don't think they give 100 million, never mind 300.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're just saying a wish list, it will be Bellingham, McAllister, and Rice. Now that would be one hell of a midfield. But in reality, Bellingham and, like I said, 250 million players. So Mount, which I've really got not too much of a problem with Mount, because I trust Klopp, and there is a player in Mount, and I think he can. I think Klopp can make him a better footballer.
That's a good point, that, because I've always said, excuse me, Excuse me. I've always said about Mount, he has got legs and he runs all over the place. And I think he'd go out to prove to the Chelsea, what they've lost if he did come to Liverpool. And he fancies his chances here, by the way.
He's only 25 as well.
Yeah, 20, and that's a smashing age because he's got all the ingredients of a Premiership player. He's got all the experience as well, and he'll try to prove something. He will try to prove something. And don't forget, he's played alongside Declan Rice. He's played alongside Jude Bellingham as well.
Exactly.
For England. So you've got all the experiences there.
Yeah, I'll be all right with him.
With those three.
Just getting the big one, isn't it? Over the line.
Well, they reckon that he was at Anfield, believe it or not, watching a game.
But wouldn't any top footballer, if they had the day off, want to go watch Liverpool versus Arsenal as well? So it's. But this is the thing. We're not gonna know anything until at least the end of the season. I mean, he's playing for Dortmund, and they're still going for the Bundesliga title. So so many journos know absolutely sod all about what's going on. But for clickbait and likes, they're throwing stuff out there every single day, and people click on it and they get mad, or they get they start to get excited. Nobody knows. The only person that knows where Bellingham is going is Jude Bellingham, and that's it.
Yeah, the thing is, he'd love to, apparently, it's all shared, and he'd love to come to Liverpool. Even the old ex-Liverpool players have said, excuse me, that he'd like to come here. But I've always said, and the lads on there that tell you, including this fella who's always a guest, Ian Golder.
Ian.
Yeah, Ian's old, yeah. And, he knows what I've said about him. It's not up to him. It's up to Dortmund. Because if there's going to be a bidding war, there's no way Liverpool will enter a bidding war for Jude Bellingham. And they'll sell to the highest bidder, no matter what Jude Bellingham says.
Yeah, I think or there's some kind of gentleman agreement with Liverpool, where they've already shook hands on it and just mum's the word for now. So, I mean, I'd rather concentrate on the last 9 games than have Bellingham transfer bollocks every single day of my life.
I hope you don't say that in front of your kids.
Huh?
I hope you don't say that in front of your kids.
No. Well, I've got my little one at home. She had the day off of school today, and about 10 minutes I got to get off and go get my other 3. But I keep me words close to my heart.
Yeah. Stephen Snape says, I think Mount with a damaged ego and experience could be an asset. Although my only caveat to that would be that he might be overrated. A lot of English players are overhyped, and for me, Mount's one of them. What do you think of that?
Well, again, Klopp could bring him down a peg or two. That's the thing. People kind of laughed at us with players like Robertson. 8 million from Hull. Come on, and look at him now. I just think Klopp is a world-class manager for a reason. His man management is so good. I mean, you look at the days of Benitez, his man management was nowhere. Technically, he was good, but man management-wise, no.
Yeah.
And for me, Trent as well. Trent could have his head could have exploded after that second season. But I think Klopp just makes these players just down to earth. So I do think there is a player there in Mount, and I think Klopp can curb his ego.
I think that's a good shout, actually. And talking about Jude Bellingham, you know, been going on about Charlie Woodshake. Breaking news: Bellingham last seen at McDonald's.
which Mackie D's though?
I'll be the one in Liverpool down up here, over there, you know. It's bouncing little McDonald's and chips, little bag of chips and a milkshake, strawberry milkshake. That's what my little granddaughter says, you know. Every time go out, Mackey's, and okay, you know, go to Mackey's. She doesn't say McDonald's. She doesn't have a Mackey's. She always have them chicken nuggets and you know, a little drink, one of those little drinks. Loves it, you know.
Famous girls. They're horrible. Those chicken nuggies are horrible.
But that's all she eats. That's all, you know, when you go out and the Edge Lane Mackey's, he said. Edge Lane. Not the Great Ormond Street one where I go shopping in Sainsbury's. I've seen a few there myself, you know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, what are you doing over there? Seeing that you're a big red and you're a Scouser. So,
well, just a quick on me. Like me dad used to work in Iraq and Iran, construction engineer.
Okay.
And me mum passed away with cancer when I was 16, and they offered me dad a job in America. So he took it, and I just, you know, stayed home for a while, and then, you know, later on I was like, I just want a different. I'd been over to the States before as an exchange student in New York, so I thought the States was just like New York, like everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Georgia, which is very like, very southern in its way of thinking, especially like the racism still there. Like, you know, you've got mansions on one side of the street, and then you got the ghetto on the other side. So it's just very, very segregated still. But yeah, I just made the move, and then you know, met me missus and moved to Texas. And I love Austin. Austin to me's got a little bit of Liverpool in it, just as everyone's, you know, pretty down to earth and will help each other out. Kind of cool. Music wise, they call it the music capital of the world, which is a load of you know what.
Yeah.
But that's their motto. But yeah, no, I mean, I love it over there. I mean, I miss home, of course I do. You know, that's my roots is back home.
Of course, you never forget your roots, especially if you're a Scouser. Have you seen a document? Have you seen a documentary which will be like?
I watched it the other day after you told me about it. Yeah,
what did you think of that?
Really well done, and it really made me miss home. I was
well,
like,
this is it. Yeah, this is it.
It's everything you said.
Yeah, the thing is, you see, it's a matter of what you've just said there. You know, I miss home. My roots are still there, but you love where you're living, and that's the main thing. As long as you love where you're living. As Golden says here.
He used
Paul
to.
Lived in Austin.
Yeah, he was manager of the Austin Aztecs, and then he moved to Houston, and now he's the director into Miami with Beckham, I believe now.
Oh, go away.
Yeah, I met Kenny when he was here playing golf. Yeah, and I two words didn't come out of my mouth. I couldn't get them out. Like he is to me, you know, he is the king, and I was just like.
Well, let me tell you just before you go about Kenny. Right, I was at a function. I was invited along, And believe it or not, it was at the Anglican Cathedral, and it was all these Motown people. And I was actually having a drink with Benny King, Percy Sledge, Billy Paul. I was having a bevy with them. And I was seeing over, and a friend of mine, Jimmy McGovern, a writer. So I looked over, and he was talking to Kenny Dalglish, and I said to my daughter Francine, "I'm going over there." So I went over to him. This is true. This went over to him, and I went, "All right, Kenny." And he went, "All right, Frank." And I went, "Oh, shocked." And I said to Jimmy McGovern, I said, "Did you tell him who I was?" And he said, "No." And what he did, he used to watch it. Well, he always watched LFC TV, and that's how he knew me. That's how he knew me. But I told him, I don't know whether you know this, I'm a historian, you say, and I told him about Liverpool's first recipient of the Victoria Cross. And it was a lad born in a workhouse and died in a workhouse. But in the meantime, in the middle of his life, he won a Victoria Cross, first recipient of the Victoria Cross of Liverpool, right? And it gave the seed as birth in Brownlow Will Workhouse, gave the seed to Charles Dickens for the birth of Oliver Twist. And all through the night, Kenny, he's going, "Hey, Frank," I was going, "Oh, what do you want now, Kenny?" "Oliver Twist, wasn't he a Scouser?" "Told you that before, he was." It's absolutely genuine, that. And that's your king. That's the king, Kenny Dalglish.
He is. He's not just was an incredible footballer, but he's an incredible man. I mean, what is his Mrs. Foundation?
Yeah,
that's what I love. Not just about Liverpool, but the people. That's what I miss the most is the people, because they'll give you the shirt off their backs. If you're cold, come on inside, have a cuppa. I miss that.
Yeah.
And Kenny's just.
That's what you meant. It's like,
isn't he?
Yeah, it's like these lads on here, like Charlie Budd and Stephen Snape, and Jake, and everyone, Ian Golder, even your mate Jeff Gilden and whatever. They're all Reds.
Mm-hmm.
They're all good lads. And, we embrace each other. We embrace each other. And we embrace the team. Like Bobby Firmino, when he came out, he said, only the other day after he scored, he knows that he's loved by the club and by us, the fans, And Gaz Riley says, "Love your knowledge of Liverpool, Frank." Thank you, Gaz. Listen, if anyone's looking in, and they're not commenting or whatever, please just put a like, subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, absolutely nothing. Your comments will be read out, not like some podcasts where you have to pay, believe it or not. You can comment, but they won't read them out. But all your comments will be read out. Just like it, so we can get the algorithm out there. Please do that if you're just looking in. That's it. That's to all these people. They just look in and they're not commenting, so it doesn't go up. And they don't subscribe, and it's sad. It's just sad, if they subscribe, the algorithm will get right out there,
it doesn't take a second just to like and subscribe,
Exactly. And it doesn't cost anything.
It's like, I have a podcast as well, and I do the story side podcast. Where I have people come on and tell their Liverpool stories, and I have some people actually going, "It's just too long, Daz," because mine are like an hour. We had Craig Johnson on; he was 2.5 hours, but it went by so quickly because he's such a good storyteller. But people are just going, "It's too long, Daz." I was like, you can press the pause button and you can go back and listen to it. Like it's not that difficult, but we all love being connected to Liverpool. You know, I was very honoured to be in the match day programme against Arsenal. They did a 2-page spread on me and the podcast, and that, like me mate just said, who's on the pod with me, he's like, I always thought I would be in the programme as a footballer, but this is close enough.
Well, if you ever want me telling my story about Liverpool, have me on.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on. Of course I would.
Yeah, that'll be good. Anytime you want. Anytime you want. I'll give you a story about Rome. Rome, honestly. It's hilarious. It really is. When I was going with me, two little mates, 2 kids, 3 kids, and they just turned around and said, "What's your ambition?" And I'm just going to leave you with this. I won't say any more until I go on your podcast. And I said, I want to see Liverpool win the European Cup, as you do, right? Win the European Cup. This is in '77. And I want to go to the Colosseum. And they went, I will just leave you on what they said now. Okay. But afterwards, I'll tell you, right, on your podcast, they went, "Whoa, what kind of a club? What kind of a club staff, Frank? Is the strippers on?" I'll tell you afterwards.
To be continued.
Oh, crazy. Honest to God. Absolutely brilliant. But, this is it. This is it. And Jake Whittaker says, "Boss Adidas trainers Ian, and Frank has the lecky gun in your house." No, it's because it's a studio.
Yeah, I thought you were
someone Steve Evans said that. Are you in a cave, Frank? Yeah, like St. Anthony, where he went into Egypt, hiding from everybody.
It's like next time we'll just see the red of your eyes in the back.
Or the fangs coming down.
Yeah, upside down.
It's great. So when are you going? When are you getting off there, Jazz? Or can you stay a bit longer? It'd be great if you could.
I can stay for about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'd love to just keep chatting, but then me 3 kids would be
like, I understand. No, your kids are more important than anything. Now, listen, before you go, I'm going to ask you this. Be honest with yourself, okay? Be honest with everyone on, coming on here. Right, so you're listening.
I'm listening.
What's the 4 players, right? What's the 4 players? And I know you've only got 5 or 6 minutes. 4 players you'd like to see go, and 4 players you'd like to see come in.
I think the 4 players are just like everyone else.
Okay.
Keita, Ox, Milner. I mean, for me, let me just say, if Milner could just go into the coaching role, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, so is everyone else, but he wouldn't see it play him, and that's wrong.
He's on a wage, and he's 30, 38. So, and 4th player.
What about? Go on.
It'd be probably Matip. It's time.
Yeah. Have to be.
Because at least with Gomez can fill in at right back.
He can, and that's why I said to you at the beginning, if we can play right back and throw, we've got nothing to lose now, and throw Trent into midfield, I think that'll be a good thing. I really do, and I'll be satisfied, the likes of me, if he can't play in midfield, and thousands of other supporters say put him in midfield, it'll just say, well, okay, he can or he can't, and it's as simple as that. Right.
and the 4 players to come in: Bellingham, McAllister, Mount, and the is it the Serbian lad, the centre back?
Garibaldi. Sorry, yeah, I can't pronounce his name.
I'd like him to come in.
I would. They're good, yeah. Excellent. And all right, your last one now. You ready for this? This is going to be the most difficult prediction for the Leeds game.
Well, I actually don't predict. I've never predicted a scoreline in my life. So I'm not going to do it now, but I am going to say we'll win. Is that good enough for you?
No, that'll do me. There's something for you here. With the black soft Frank background, you look like Max Edlin, Frank. Thanks for your input, Ian. The Lone Star State is often called the real America.
Who's Ian? Who's Ian? He keeps calling me
Ian Golder.
It's Daz.
He's been chatting to each other, you see.
I wondered why he was like, Ian's got a great trab collection. I was like, he's got one better than me. Yeah, this is only a third of my trabs. Like all Adidas. Like just love it.
What about Ox, Kiter, Milner, and Mello should go Matip too, and that's
Mello's going anyway, isn't he?
Yeah,
so
he's only on loan.
That's really not like he's out the door anyway.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed it tonight?
Loved it. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I mean, again, I can talk about Liverpool like 24/7 with somebody that actually has a brain. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that you try and have a chat with, and it's just one-way traffic. So you're just really easy to talk to, and I cannot wait to get you on my podcast to have a good old chat, because we've got to keep these stories going, Frank. For me, you know, like I said, I started my podcast because my granddad I went to my first match when I was 6. Yeah. And throughout the years after, he tried to tell me the old stories, and I wouldn't listen to him.
Yeah.
You know, I was chasing girls, kicking the football in the street. So this is my podcast is an ode to him, going, Grandad, I'm sorry I didn't listen to yous, but I'm going to listen to everyone else.
I'll tell you what, we're chasing girls. You chased the girl furthest I've ever known, all the way over to Austin and Texas.
I did. Swam across.
We only chased them in the pub down here, you know, or in the club. That's where we met our girls. You go all the way over to Texas.
Yeah, I'm still chasing them. Still chasing them.
Oh, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You know, Taz, honestly. Michael J says, I've read about Salah's football past, and every time things weren't going well for him, it took a move to get him to spark again. Hi, Frank from Cork City, Ireland. Well, there's we have our lads now. They're all tuning in from Ireland. There we go. That's great, though, you know, because where you know, as I said about Salah, do you want to go? Have you got time?
Yeah, I better get off now and go get the kiddos, mate.
Oh, Jazz, will you come on next week?
Yeah, what, same time?
Well, if it's any better, I could start at 8:30, or, you know, normally we go out at 8, but, you know, if you're having to run after the kids, you know, school or whatever.
Well, the thing is, from like 9 p.m. UK time to 10, right, I'm picking up all the kids. So I've got 4 girls. So yeah, it's usually better from 8 till 9.
So when you go and pick them up, all right. So all right, what about next week then?
Yeah, be sound on Tuesday again.
Tuesday or Thursday? You pick. Just message me what day you prefer, and we'll go from there. How about that?
Yeah, be sound, and I'm getting a schedule together for for next month,
Yeah.
and I'll get you on and get your story out there, because I'm sure there's loads of people that want to hear your story. Just maybe next time put a light bulb on.
I'm behave.
I'm telling you, next time I see you, you're gonna have fangs.
Yeah, watch. That
doesn't help. That doesn't help. There you go.
Look, it's terrible. Honestly, I don't know. It's just the background. Well, that's the best I can do, to be honest.
It's
been brilliant, absolutely, Taz. And my regards and everything else, and I'll see you next week, eh?
All right, ta-ra, Frank. Appreciate it.
And you, see you later. See you very much. Ciao. Wasn't he a smashing lad? Wasn't he absolutely brilliant? And he had to go and collect his kids. He's gone and collect his kids. I think it's great when, you know, the guests do come on. I've got a couple of guests coming in on Thursday, which will be great. It really will be great when they come in, because they'll be talking about the game from the Arsenal game. Also, they'll be talking about the Leeds game, what we can do, who should we play. This is what we'll be talking about on Thursday's pod. But anyway, so if you want to chat to me, Stephen Snape says, our club's history is so rich, it's great to be part of a multi-generational club. See, the thing is, you see, it's no matter how you look at Liverpool, no matter how many times you've been to see them, they've been phenomenal. They've been phenomenal. And if there's anyone old enough there to see the Paisley sides, you know, from let's say 77 onwards, they were phenomenal. Every one of them. Sean mentions as well, could you imagine, you know, from the Paisley time, could you imagine the likes of Ray Kennedy, Graham Souness and Terry McDermott in midfield, in Liverpool's midfield today? Imagine that. Terry McDermott, Graham Souness. Could you imagine them three? Or going back to the midfield of Steven Gerrard, Xabi Alonso, Javier Mascherano. Could you imagine them three in today's midfield? Do you think anyone would get past them? No. So this is where it falls down. See if you agree with me. Just please make a comment. Please make a comment. And as Gaz Riley says, Tim Bobbin and me, say, behave yourself, Gaz. Got all darky. Got a little mad face here. God, blimey, see. I can't work these lights. Oh, come worse. Yeah, that's it. And also what I wanted to say to you is as well, all the people out there, if you're talking about getting gear, you know, for next season or even till the end of the season, get up to at Scarf and Badge, because you get the likes of this stuff here. This stuff. And it's brilliant. Honestly, lovely people, Mike Dean and his lovely wife, Miss Shaw. It's a small business. They sell all the Liverpool merchandise. You can get everything. You can even get a badge. That's why it's called at Scarf and Badge. T-shirts, hoodies, you name it. You can get everything, and all at reasonable prices as well. No quality stuff. And just get along there, because they are lovely people. And it's small business. I support small businesses. And just get along. I'm getting some stick here, aren't I? I'm getting some stick. Charlie Wood. You could see with a miner's helmet with a lamp in the front. Oh, come on. Look, I'll just show you how it'll be, okay? Because these lights are in here. They're so powerful. Watch. See? Let's see if I turn this off. Let's see if it'll be any better. Is that any better? Let's see. I can't bloody see me. Is that any better? Is that any better? Oh, I don't know. Really. Well said, being a supporter since the 60s, says Carlyle. Yep, and there you go, obviously, the Shankly era, which is absolutely fantastic. I've just seen a little comment there by Stephen Snape. I'll put us up in a moment. So what I'd like to know, lads, seeing that you're all with me, who would you like to see brought in? I'll have to do this. Honestly, I'll have to do this. Like, this is killing me. Is that all right? Is that all right? Just bear with me on this. Just bear with me. Okay, just bear with me. I'll have to turn these big lights and they're shining down. It's like a Star Trek. It could be beams up. You never know. Aliens have come for me. Aliens. Sorry about Sorry about that. There we go. Back, as they say. Anyway, 71 FA Cup final was the day I started following the Reds. Believe it or not, I fell in love with the noise the fans made. I was 9 years old, choir boy, whose first game was 77. Loved the club, says Stephen Snape. That's lovely, that. That's great. And as he says, Stephen Snape, highly illuminating, Frank. Thank you. Oh, that's brilliant. So, anyway, illuminating. It was fine the way it was, Frank. I was only kidding. They're saying, you're in a cave. No, they're only kidding. I'm present. Present do everything to put things right. See, it's not so much. It's not so much. We've got this little place, and I'm absolutely delighted with it because I've been getting me earphones. He gave me a pair of earphones. I'm not wearing them. Couldn't even put them on. But anyway, I'll be getting the earphones as well. This is a good point, actually. This is a good point. Bellingham, a pipe dream, perhaps, but I'd go for Caicedo at Brighton and Neves at Wolves. Yeah. I'd go with that. I'd go with that because they've got legs as well. That Caicedo has. So who else, boys? Would you like to see the likes of, Caicedo, as Stephen Snape says, and Neves from Wolves? I like that Neves, to be honest. Or would you prefer to go with the homegrown lads of Declan Rice and, dare I say to you, Bellingham, well, I don't think the money's there, I really don't. I think they're going to try and get, what these hedge funders are like. They'll be trying to get players on the cheap and depends on the youngsters here already here, whereas the youngsters still need to be blooded by the likes of Thiago. That's why I think we might get one player in. We might get one player in and keep the likes of Henderson and Milner to blood them in, but that'll be disastrous. I really do. I think that'll be disastrous if we did that, because I don't trust the owners, especially the investment part of it. I like Bill Morbans in a podcast, Frank. Switched on you, lad. Thank you. So, and again, he says here, Stephen, he says, I think Bellingham is out of reach. I do myself. I really do. I really think the point of it all is, we need a midfield. We really do need three midfielders. And I hope Jürgen, I really do, I hope Jürgen goes, listen, we need. Honestly, I just hope he gives the owners, I hope he gives the owners the opportunity to say, okay, how much do you need? And who do you need? Go and get them. Because we could go, I'm not saying into a free fall, I'm not saying that next season, but we could go into fighting for like the Europa League, because there's Newcastle. Newcastle bought, didn't they, at the beginning of the season when the new owners came in. That's why they're up there. You've got City, you've got Arsenal who've been very lucky, to be honest. I'm not just saying that, honestly, I'm not saying that, but they've got a good side over the years. Because Arteta nearly went, he lost the first five or six games last season, didn't he? Opening games. And he nearly went. Then you've got Chelsea buying everybody. You've got Manchester United, they'll be buying as well. And we could be left out in the cold, and that's the problem. Okay, and I thought it was Christmas when you turn the lights on. It's Christmas every day, but you're not, isn't it? Says Charlie Wood. Great. They want 135 mil plus add-ons for Bellingham. Looks like we're walking away. Yes, I've said that all along. I watched some podcast, an Irish lad, and he's convinced that Jude Bellingham's coming here. And he has been for months. But he's going over the top now. I was listening to him before, and he said the most ridiculous thing, he said, I'm not interested in assists, because someone mentioned Mo Salah and his goals and assists. I'm not interested in assists. Assists mean nothing to me. And I thought, if you don't get an assist, you don't score. And I just thought, you're a fool, fella. That was the end of it then. And you're right there, sold by Fran, 135 million. And that's the problem we've got, unfortunately. And it's the investment. This is what people are going on about. They're going on about lack of investment. And that's been part of the problem we've got. Lack of investment. Lack of investment. And Stephen Snape says, Batatic with 2 more experienced acquisitions in the middle. I only say he's out of reach because of FSG not speculating to accumulate. If they don't back Klopp, we'll go even further back. Totally agree. Well, I totally agree with that statement there. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny, I should have mentioned there before, we was talking to Taz, and he was talking about Thiago, because Batatic is being coached, believe it or not, by Thiago. Spanish, you see. And Thiago, I'm going to let you into a little secret. Thiago was born in Italy. He was born in Lecce, Puglia, Italy, Italia. 21 anni fa. 31 anni fa. 20. The problem is, if we don't play in Europe, no one will want to come to us, says Charlie Wood. And he carries on by saying, also, Frank, assists only count if the forwards score. Well, this is the problem, you see, and it's only what this fellow was saying. He doesn't bother about assists. And he tried to give an example against Arsenal when Henderson, stretched for that ball that was cut in by Jota, and it went to Mo Salah. And he said, that's an assist, that doesn't really count. And I thought, you're a fool, mate. It's like, do you ever remember let's give it an example, like again, Henderson, for example, right? Manchester United, Old Trafford. The ball, 5th goal. Mo Salah's hat-trick. When that ball by Salah went around, not Salah, Henderson went around the whole of their defence, and he just ran onto it and just chipped it over and scored. That's without that pass, that assist. But this fella say that it doesn't exist. The system, I want scorers. You've got to I'd love to have spoken to him, because he said they should be just scoring the forwards, and I'd love to have said, okay, so how did he get the ball to score? How? Should they run from like a penalty area, run up at the ball and score? I don't know. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's in my opinion. Whether you agree with assists. And Stephen Snape says, if Klopp's to compete, he needs the full confidence of the ownership of the club. To hamstring the manager by being tight-fisted and accelerates his disillusionment and inevitable departure. That could happen, actually. I think he's getting, to be honest, I think he's becoming more and more disillusioned. But what gave him that, after that game, watching him on the touchline against Arsenal, that second half especially, that gave him heart. And if he can't motivate, or even our own players can't be motivated going into the Leeds game after that performance, because I don't take in, that's why the title of today's A New Dawn or a false dawn? False dawn. Question mark. Exclamation mark. If Klopp's to compete, he needs the full confidence of the ownership of the club. Yes, of course he does. And that's just to compete. That's just to compete. And he carries on by saying, assists equate creation opportunities. It's a simple game. Yes. Yeah, this is a cracker, this. And it's from Charlie Wood. The Arsenal game didn't feel like we were losing. That's a very good point, though. See, we were getting beat 2-0. And as Taz said, he joined me earlier on. He said, I couldn't believe what was going on and whatever. And, Jeff Goulden, who's been on a couple of times on the pod, he'll be coming on again. He said that he's never seen anyone before all arguing between themselves in the cup when we were 2-0 down. So this is what you've got to this is what you've got to take, unfortunately, in what's going on or what was going on. Do you think that this game against Arsenal, especially the second half, let's just say the second half, do you think that it should revitalise, shall we say, the lads, give them their own self-confidence and the motivation, because the fight was there. They were getting stuck in. They really were getting stuck in. Everyone was getting stuck in. So do you think that fight should still be there with us? Just let me know. Because as Charlie Wood said, the Arsenal game didn't feel like we were losing. And also, before we finish, give us your predictions for the game against Leeds, please. And don't forget, I'll be back on Thursday as well. I'll have Marios on, and a couple of others, all arguing. Be like the cop with Jeff Goulden, all fighting. But it's give us that. I was made up. As I said, it was like a European night. It was like a European night. And it's one of those things. It's just one of those things. If it's like a European night, every time we play at home, we could win all our games. We've got an easy, and I know it sounds pathetic when I say this, because we couldn't beat them anyway, but we've got an easier running. And I was saying to someone, if only we had beaten, I hate saying this, if only we had beaten Bournemouth and Wolves, if only. That would have been 6 points. 6. That's what's sickening. That's what's sickening. We'll beat Leeds by 2 clear goals. Funny enough, I said we'll beat them 2-0. But we've got to go in with that fight, that same fight. We really have. Any more predictions before I close? And I'll promise you all, I'll wear something light on Thursday. because I can't, all these lights in here, you know, honestly, they're too bright. It didn't feel like we were losing because for 2/3 of the game, we were better than Arsenal. We battered them. We battered them. Unbelievable. I was talking to Tommy Batty at half time, and we both agreed that it was that incident. This is at half time. Wasn't a full time at half time, and we were talking about the Xhaka and Trent Arnold incident, and I said this has motivated them. I said the crowd, everybody. I said we're all up for it now. We're up for this, but we've got to have the same attitude as we did ending the first half. And they came out, and we just hammered them. I'm not blaming Mo, by the way, for the penalty. I'm not blaming him because he's our leading goal scorer. Without him, I don't think we're in the relegation zone, to be honest. But our leading goal scorer, and he done everything right. Well, never went in. I thought he would have just blasted it down the middle. And I've got our Ian Goals in here. Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says. This it's a message. I don't know what it says though. And he said this 20 minutes ago, whatever it is, and I can't get it up. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, Ian. I'm sorry, mate. Can't get it up, Ian. Won't come through for me. And again, he says, Mo's done far more good than bad for us since his arrival. And they're the same people, I think, who Jeff was saying, everyone's. Okay, yeah, it is a good one. So, yeah. Bellingham chases over according to the Mirror due to the scale of the rebuild. So if there is going to be a big rebuild, it's like, are these rumours, that's all, you know, about investment. But I still say about the owners. I remember Redbird giving 600 million plus last year. Nothing came on the pitch. But they said, oh, that had nothing to do with the football club. Oh, they got shares. That's why they put 600 million in. And when I said that to the person, they couldn't answer me. So it's still baffling, and I hope it's right. You know what Ian says. Bellingham chases over according to the Mirror due to the scale of the rebuild. I just hope it is true. I really do, because I want to see our lads. I'm convinced some fans don't know how the game is played, says Charlie Wood. I understand that, and they don't, because how many times have we turned around to other fans and said, what game is he watching? Even pundits, what game is he watching? Because it's, no matter how you look at a game, there's always something. It's like what Daz said about Tsimikas. And he said he's not good enough. I know people who say is better than him, Robbo. So you have different opinions. Simicast is better than him. People are saying that Joe Gomez is better at right back than Trent. People were saying sell Mo Salah to get the money in. He's our leading goal scorer. You don't sell your leading goal scorer. Who'd replace Mo Salah? Who would replace him? Hey. And how much would you have to pay for a goal scorer, the likes of Mo Salah? Or even that Benzema, whatever his name is. How much are you going to pay for them? It's pathetic. And as Charlie says, I'm convinced some of our fans don't know how the game is played. And I think he was going on about assists, what that lad was saying, that Irish lad, on his podcast. I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe what he was saying about assists. You don't need assists. Honestly, that's what he said. You don't need assists. I'm not interested in assists. I'm only interested in goal scoring. To score a goal, you've got to have an assist. Doesn't he understand that? But that's the way it is. Listen, anyone out there that hasn't subscribed or just press it, costs nothing, just subscribe and press the like, get the algorithm out there, please, just for me. Everything is free. Because as I said on some podcasts, nothing comes up. Some do, but you've got to pay for them. I don't understand that. This is an unprofitable little podcast. Soulboy, he says, he's not worth 155 million. Bellingham. In fact, no one is. I'd go along with that. 135 million. 100. You just can't get your head around it, can you? You can't get your head around it. Listen, people, I think he's a fantastic, for supporting me here. Going on with, commenting, saying, you're still in the cave, Frank. Put the lights on. You're very illuminating. All this brilliant humour. I'm going to wrap it up now, if you don't mind. And what it is, don't forget, that scarf and badge if you go in the game. Because they're a lovely guy. They're really lovely people. Michelle and Michael Dean, good couple. Quality gear, reasonable prices, honestly. They're just smashing. Get along there. It's by the Flatiron pub. It's just facing the Flatiron pub. Brilliant. Anyway, I've got to go. I've got this bit of a cough. I made up with my little studio. Yes. Made up with it. And let's see. Charlie Wood says, just before you all go, thank you. You can buy 3 players for 135 and 3 midfielders as well. Yeah, go along with that. But you think that you can answer me on Thursday, I'll ask the same question. If they're talking about, what Ian Gold has said about a war chest, shall we say, because everything is done now because of, to get Bellingham and most probably others. But you think we'll have to sell? I'm not talking about players who go for, a few bob. I'm talking about big players that will have to go. The likes of Mo Salah, if you know what I mean. Even Diaz. So let me know. Good night, Frank. Cracking show. Good night to all watching in. Thank you so much, Stephen Snape. Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you all on Friday. Not Friday, I'm sorry. I've got no Friday. On Thursday. Same time. Same time. Same time. And I hope to see you all on there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And if you tune in on Thursday, it'll be a full one. Let me guess, talking football for you, the lads. And I want you to be talking back as well. All your comments, get rid out. And they'll try and answer them as well, as you know. Thank you so much, people. See you soon, eh? Thank you. Ci vediamo.